Che, how you doing? Hey, Jen. Little view of the bowl there, guys. And here we go, guys. There's the end of the wall. Right here. I'd love to see Beto O'Rourke and them come down here and go camping right there. That's Anapra, Mexico. That is where the cartel operates from. That is where the human trafficking all comes from. Everything comes through this little 5-mile sector that we're in, as far as in our area. And, you know, the ACLU decided that they were going to write a letter to the governor down here, who, by the way, was the same governor who pulled the troops out of New Mexico. And I have had more channels writing stuff that I didn't, you know, that the vigilante, that were holding people at gunpoint, that were impersonating federal officers. I've heard so much of it that I just literally have started laughing. But in all seriousness, I want to give a response to the governor. And it kind of goes like this. Number one, we're not a militia. We're a group of Americans that are down here on the border. We have never claimed to be a militia or a vigilante group. And the people who wrote the articles, the people who did the interviews, know what they wrote was a lie. That's fake news. Okay, so I want to start there by squaring that away. Okay, we're a group of volunteer patriots. It's no different than when somebody comes down to help in a hurricane. We have a crisis here on the border, and you know, they don't want to show it. They don't want it getting out. They don't want to tell the truth. And now that we've got some videos out there that people are paying attention to, thanks to you guys and the fact that you shared them, they now consider us to be a threat. They're calling us racist, fascist, everything that they say about people who, you know, are Americans, true Americans. And, you know, the real issue here, guys, that governor will not do anything to help the Border Patrol down here. These guys are sitting in trucks by themselves. They're being raided, groups of 300, 600 people at a time. We have many areas of the border that are being left open, that are being exposed. Lots of drugs getting in, human trafficking, sex trafficking, possibly terrorism. And the groups that are coming in these new caravans behind these fraudulent asylum seekers are appearing to be a little more aggressive people. We have some pretty aggressive Cubans that are coming up. They're not following the orders of the Mexican police. We've got some Nigerians who pretty much went through, I think it's Chalapo, Mexico, down south a little further. And so I don't really consider this New Mexico's border. I consider this America's border. It might border New Mexico, but I don't believe this is New Mexico's border. This is America's border. And as Americans, we have a right that when we see a crime being committed, and in this case, the crime is crossing through our border illegally, okay? If we witness that as citizens, and this just doesn't apply to us, this applies to you as well, you have the power to make what's called a citizen detainment or a citizen's arrest. It doesn't give you the power to use violence. It doesn't give you the power to abuse people. But there's things you can do to hold a person. Now, we're not the cops. And it's not our job to determine whether someone's claiming asylum. It's not our job to figure out if they're criminals. What our job is when these people come through the border, you see what we do. Instead of having them run all over the hills for the safety of their kids, for the safety of themselves, We stop them, we find them, and we keep them seated, or sometimes we give them water. Sometimes we help them with their medical needs. We've done that. It's all on video. But we do that so that then Border Patrol can come over and there's a safe transition. Everybody's safe. Our biggest thing here, and you guys know that, is safety. Okay? They want to say that we're running around with guns and these people aren't trained and qualified to be on the border. You know, some of the special forces that are working down here, and it's no offense to the Border Patrol, but these are guys that are ex-Green Berets, stuff like that. And in the case, in the rare event that somebody would actually have to pick up a rifle or defend themselves, that would be the only time that there would be any type of engagement. And as a citizen, everybody has that right. So when I think of the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union, they're supposed to be protecting American civil liberties is what I thought. But I guess now illegals come first to the American Civil Liberties Union. And this isn't about racism. Why do they use the word immigrants? How come on every article that you guys write out there in the news, if you're watching this, why do you write that we're harassing and we're aggravating immigrants? These are illegal immigrants up until the point they get to the Border Patrol, whose job it is at that point to arrest them. We don't arrest them. We ask them to stop, hold, and sit down. Okay? We don't, we keep our eyes and our ears on them until the Border Patrol gets to them and takes them to processing. And our biggest thing down here is to document the story. And that's what they don't like, is that we're showing America the truth. And so anyway, what they're trying to attack us with is in one of the videos, one of the wives of one of the guys who's down here shot a side video. And in the video, I believe we had like 300, 400, 500 people in that group. There might have been 300, I don't remember. But one of the things that they edited is in one of the statements, she says, "Hey guys, make sure you don't point your gun," okay? And where that statement came from is some of the guys were carrying ARs, and there's a lot of people there. And so she was just making sure, as a safety precaution, just like we always do, safety comes first. She was just making sure that, you know, in the middle of the night, nobody was pointing a gun or accidentally pointing a gun at somebody. That got construed, not because they saw somebody pointing a gun, or not because there was a video, or not even because there was a witness who said we were pointing a gun. It got construed because they took that statement, and the New York Times decided to write an article saying that we were holding illegals at gunpoint. Now, you guys that watch these videos, you know that that's false. One of the reasons that we document everything is because we knew there might come a day like this when the left tried to pull a major attack on us. And it wouldn't surprise me right now if they were trying to find illegal immigrants out there to say that we did that too. Okay, that it wouldn't shock me at all. You know, you got to remember, guys, there's people funding this invasion of the United States, and it is an invasion, and I did say that. I won't take that statement back. I'll say that on the record. This is an invasion. Only 5 to 10% of those people that claim asylum actually qualify as real asylum seekers. The rest of them are people who are taking advantage of the country. They're people that are going to bury down our healthcare system. They're going to bury down our legal system. And frankly, we're doing everything in our power to show the American people what's happening here. But keep in mind, there's a lot of money behind this. Now, the other thing is, they're not staying in the border cities like you've been led to believe. These guys are being put on buses, they're being put on planes, they're being flown all over the country. Okay, so every city in America is going to be affected by this invasion. And, you know, I've been called racist, and I've been called a fascist and a nationalist because of the fact that I believe in a secure border. I believe in legal immigration. I believe that if you do have an asylum claim, there's a process for that. But nevertheless, until those laws change, when the illegal immigrants cross illegally, which is a crime, they at that point have broken the law, and once they approach a border patrol, they can make their asylum claim, and then they're given a court date that's 5 to 7 years away. And in the meantime, we're supposed to be comforted by the fact that they're doing background checks on people that have no background. We're supposed to be comfortable with the fact that children are coming in that we can't verify they're actually with a parent, that they belong to that parent. I'm convinced, along with many others, that many of these people could be charged with kidnapping. Again, when somebody breaks into your backyard and they commit a crime and they're coming in unannounced, we don't know who they are, we don't know where they're from. So to say that by arming ourselves that we're somehow using some type of vigilante justice, or that we're inhumane, or that we don't care, or whatever, that is strictly a false narrative from uneducated people who do not respect the President of the United States, who don't care about our Border Patrol agents, that they're on the front line and they're fighting this by themselves, and they don't have backup. And how many times have I shown you guys wide open border where there's no Border Patrol to be found? And it's not because they're not doing their job. It's because they're driving these people to the hospital. They're taking them to the airport. Basically, they're acting as an Uber service when only 7% to 10% of them would actually qualify for that service. And that's what the American people aren't being told. Every time the left talks, they refer to the minority of the people coming in, the 5 to 10%. So in that group of 300 that we did detain, that we stopped, only 30 of them would qualify for asylum. Okay? So, and identifying ourselves as police. Now, I know in a couple videos you guys heard me yell U.S. Border Patrol. In those videos, because a lot of these people do not speak English, the one word they do understand is U.S. Border Patrol. And a lot of times what I'll do is, if there's an agent in sight, I'll yell U.S. Border Patrol and I'll point. You don't always see that on camera, but that's what that's about. And so they took that to mean that we're running around identifying ourselves as U.S. Border Patrol. Again, another lie, more fake news. And you have to remember that that's all it is. It's fake news. They're lying to you. If you watch these videos for yourself and then you watch what the news is telling you, that right there should be an education for you. That should tell you that it is fake news, that you're being lied to. And that should make people upset, and it should also make people realize that there's something down here that they don't want you to see. There's more information to be found down here that they don't want the Americans to be told. Because when you got a governor, when another governor brings the military down and says, listen, this is a crisis, and the president says it's a national emergency, and so we as citizens, we need to defend our borders. We have that right as Americans. And I'll tell people this: if you can come down here, if you're prior law enforcement, or if you have a military background, we need people down here. We're not leaving because we're citizens, and the fact of the matter is we're not breaking any laws. We're not doing anything that any other citizen can't do. And so, they're going to try everything they can in their power to intimidate us, to get us to go away. And you know what, guys? We're in this for the long haul. We're here to back Trump. We're here to back the Border Patrol. We're here to make sure that wall gets built. We're here to make sure that people are made aware of asylum laws that need to be changed. We're going to keep hammering this issue. We're going to keep sitting out here 24 hours a day, camped on this border, okay, until America wakes up, okay? They want to make this about our group or who we are or who we might be. That's not what any of this is about. What this is about is we have a national emergency on our border. And, I keep saying this. There's nothing racist about a border. Even people who go to heaven get vetted. Heaven has gates. There's vetting, okay? And you know what? There's a lot of money being thrown around down here on the border. It's drug cartel money is what it is. And these cartels, they pay off the police officers, they pay off the politicians, on the Mexican side. But you know, we're learning more and more that there's people on our side of the border that are helping the cartels. And, you know, I'm just, like I said, we're down here to tell the truth. We're down here to expose it. I've talked to one media outlet. There's a whole bunch of media been calling me all day. Can we come down and camp with you? Can we get statements from you? Can we do this with you? And you know what? I decided I would talk to one outlet, and I'm not talking to anybody till after Wednesday. It's Easter. We're going to put in a good day here. I'm going to take a couple days off, but I'll actually be back on the border on Wednesday. If people are interested in telling the truth, if they're interested in real footage and real news, I'm welcome. They're welcome to come talk to me. If you're a gibberel, if you're going to just take pictures and go write non-factual articles and not focus on the documentation of the crisis down here, then I'm not interested. I mean, it's that simple. There's so much fake news out there, guys, that it's unreal what they come up with. Now I know what Donald Trump experienced with all these guys. I mean, we all know it's fake news, but it's unreal how fake it is. They leave your camp. Oh, okay. What do you guys want to be called? We just how about volunteer patriots? How about volunteers at the border? Next thing you know, you turn on the news and you're a vigilante leader. So, you know, it's all right, guys. The one thing I am happy about is this is getting people talking. Okay, it's getting people to talk. And when I say it gets them talking, I mean that they're starting to talk about citizens on the border, and hopefully more people are trying to figure out who I am or who the group is. And if anything, maybe that'll lead them over to the videos, okay? Because this ain't about people. For the most part, we cover our faces down here. We're not, you know, one of us has to be visible. I told you guys that. That person's me. We're not trying to promote a group. What we're trying to do is just get the truth out, and of course the left wants to stop that. And thanks to you guys that you know, have shared these videos and stood behind us. You know, I think someone in Minnesota has a petition going right now to impeach Governor Lohan. You know, and she should be ashamed of herself. And if she's listening to this, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. The fact that citizens have to come down to document a crisis that affects every American everywhere, and you pull the military away from a border that's being rushed, and you leave it with nothing but, look at, here's Border Patrol here. This guy is here, sitting here by himself, all by himself. Backup for him is probably 15 minutes away. And you leave these guys by themselves because they can't have their normal resources because they're busy taking people to the airport or to the train or 2 hours in processing. And they're not doing the job they were hired to do. They were hired to set up operations to catch smuggling, to catch people who are coming into our border. And it's really sad. You know, they're not allowed to talk politically. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but they can't even speak. You know, and so we're trying to show the message they can't tell you. We're trying to get that out as well. You know, the official Border Patrol statement is always going to be that they cannot condone civilians on the border taking things into their own hands. I mean, there's several reasons why that statement's there, but I want you to understand something. They're happy that we're telling the story. They're happy that you're sharing these videos, okay? Because nobody else is doing it. They can't take pictures and share videos. The media is certainly not going to be down here taking pictures and sharing videos. And everything that we say to the media is going to get bent out of shape and twisted and distorted. And, you know, like even right here, guys, look, we got some kids. Let me show you. These guys are right here. There's the bus. You see the bus? They're asking for money. See that? Okay. So yeah, we have got people, you know, I mean, this is a bad area, but that's one of the buses, guys. You just saw a picture of it. That's one of the buses that they use to drop off the large groups. So there you go. I mean, let's see what we got coming up here. That's probably relief, maybe. Maybe not. let's see. I don't know who that is, actually. That's somebody else. Let's see. Univision. That's the media, guys.
How you doing, sir?
Doing good. How are you doing?
We're the jerks that have been calling you every 10 minutes.
See, guys, more media. I'm telling you, they want the story, but I'm not talking to anybody till after Wednesday.
After Wednesday?
Yep.
Okay. Do you have any written statement that you might be able to send us?
If you want to, just go to my Facebook page.
Okay, so you kind of put the comment over there?
Exactly.
Okay.
What's the...
Just go to Jim Benvie on Facebook. You'll see it. If you want to come back later, you can call and set up an appointment.
Okay.
But I'm not dealing with any fake news.
Okay.
Nothing fake.
Okay.
So I'm just telling you that now.
I just wanted to get your side, you know, like I'm going to be working on the story, so
right.
I just wanted to see what you have to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the videos tell the good story of what we're doing out here. We're not a militia, just so you guys know. We're volunteer Americans. We're patriots. That's about all I want to say right now.
Okay. Can we use that statement as part of the statement?
You can use that. I hope you do, because none of your other boys do.
Okay.
You call us vigilantes and militia, and that's not what we are.
Do you mind telling me exactly what you tell us but on camera?
I'm not doing anything till after Wednesday. I'm sorry. Okay? If you want to come back after Wednesday, I'll talk to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So anyway, yeah, fake news is everywhere, guys. They're on the prowl, they're on the hunt. Yeah, the bottom line here is that we're just going to try to tell the truth. And, you know, that's why we document this stuff. That's why we do what we do. And maybe they are fair, but guess what? I've decided I'm not doing nothing till after Wednesday. So, and that's just, and I don't know what or how much I'll even do after Wednesday, because it seems like whoever we talk to, whatever they say, they're just out to twist and distort every statement that we tell them. You know, like if they're going to write an article tonight, that's Univision. You guys heard what I said to them. I'm sure that we're going to be a militia or we're going to be a vigilante group, which, you know, it's just going to happen. So anyway, right now I'm heading over to the Monument 1. We've got a pilgrimage going on today up on the hill. They're starting it for Easter, so a lot of the religious people are going to be making a trek. I don't know if you guys can see that cross up there. See it up there? They're going to be making a trek up to that cross, and it's about a 4-mile hike, I believe, but some people like carry crosses, or they get on their knees and go up there. And so what the people that are trying to get through the border illegally will try to do is they will actually try to come up the backside of the mountain and stage there, so when the people that are citizens get up there, they can either get their IDs and come down and try to blend in with the crowd, or they just try to blend in with the crowd when they're coming down, so that way they can go undetected and get in. The other thing is, believe it or not, the cartel is a business, and they do respect holidays. So I don't expect over Saturday and Sunday for a lot to go on. And I know it sounds crazy, but it's a business. Yeah, Anthony is back at our base camp right now. I'm going to be with Anthony tonight, so he'll be around again. Getting back to this deal here. So what happens is, as a business, the cartel keeps holidays. So this is going to be a time where a few of the guys that have been out here are going to take a little bit of time off, get out of the hills for a little bit and take a breather. I know when we come back, everybody and their uncle's going to be on us. They're already on us. And, it just all depends on how things happen. So, but anybody got any questions? I hope you guys are out there. You know, the biggest thing you guys can do is make noise. Make noise to these fake news outlets. Let these guys know that, we know you're wrong. We know you're lying. And, we're not going to let the liberal left politicians take away from the real narrative here, which is telling the truth. they want to chop up these videos and say things that aren't true, and we're above that, guys. You know, we got the truth on our side, and the truth will always prevail. That's why I'm not really upset. We're going to keep doing our mission. We ain't going nowhere. I think if I remember right, the governor of New Mexico came out and supported us. You know, the former governor, I'm sorry, not the current governor, but the former governor made a statement. You know, she's upset. She knew that they needed military down here. She knew that the troops were here for a reason. And she just decided on her own that, oh no, it's not a crisis down here. We're going to take the troops away. So, you know, she's got to justify that to America, not just to the state of New Mexico. Because this is an invasion on America. Just because they're coming in through New Mexico, doesn't mean that it's not an invasion on America. And, you know, the other thing is, who is the ACLU to go after my rights as a U.S. citizen? That's what I'd like to know. I'd like to know who donates to them. You know, I always thought that they were about civil liberties. Well, you know, if you're talking about liberties and you're talking about rights and protecting rights, then you can't just talk about one side of it. You have to talk about both sides of it. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see how the news cycle goes, guys. I guess you know, being on the mountain, I don't get to watch all the news. I've tried to post what people send me. I know some of you guys are watching the news and you've seen articles, and you know, some of them are bad, I guess. Some of them are okay, decent, I don't know. But I know that you guys that watch this stuff, I know that you guys know the truth, and I know that anybody who watches the videotapes knows the truth. So I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, it's just another attack from the left. That's what they do. And you know, we're going to stay focused. We're going to stay focused on keeping up on this border. I got a little preview of something to tell you guys. Over the next week, one of the new things that I'm going to be adding to our little program here is I'm going to be going into Mexico, and we're arranging it and setting it up right now. And we're going to be going and interviewing some of the people that have been abused in the caravan. We're going to be talking about how these people are getting organized. We're going to be talking about how they're being funded. You know, what got them to the border, what made them decide to leave their home or their wife. We're going to find out if we can see what's going on with the kids, if there's like a kid dealer that is organizing kids to be transferred. So those are things that we're going to start working on, in addition to continuing to have a presence here to document the border. And like I said, America needs to know the whole story. They don't just need to know part of the story. And for some reason, the journalists, they don't want to get into the human trafficking and the sex trafficking and the 600 MS-13 and 18 gang members that are coming up. They don't want to talk about that because they want you guys to believe that everybody that's coming in right now is good people and there's no criminals. There's nothing to worry about. And so, yes, Blue's a good man. You know, Blue stays on top of those caravans. And if you guys ever want to check out his page, I know a lot of you guys already do, then get over to Blue's page, because he's on top of that. He's on the Mexico side, for those of you that don't know. And he works very close with Anthony on this side, and Anthony works with us on this side, and we all work together to try to keep you guys informed of what's going on, not only on the Mexican side of the border, but the U.S. side of the border, and everywhere in between. And so, you know, we just got to keep fighting. I mean, like I said, I wish we had more people down here on the border. I told one of the channels that today. You know, and then of course they brought up, they're trying to compare it to like some kind of a Bundy Ranch standoff. That's not what this is about. This is America's border. This affects every American. This affects everybody. Everybody in America is going to be affected by this. And while people are out there raising money for water and food and all this to feed these people, when only 10% of them need the food and the water, okay? I want to make that very clear. I'm not against food and water. I'm not against taking care of the people who truly qualify for asylum. I'm also not against people coming in as legal immigrants. I am not against that. And I that narrative that we're against legal immigration, that's also a lie. The other narrative that's a lie is that we are meting out our own justice on these people. That is also a lie. We are not the ones distributing justice. It is the judge who determines what happens. The Border Patrol is the one who arrests them. Up until the time they meet us, or I shouldn't say us, I say the Border Patrol, they are merely people that have broken the law of entering the United States illegally. Now, once they meet with Border Patrol, then the Border Patrol can determine whether they truly qualify for asylum, or whether they're a criminal, or whether they, what their deal is. That is not up to us as citizens to do that. But when we see somebody crossing the fence illegally, as citizens, we need to get involved. And when I say get involved, it means a peaceful stopping or spotting or observing of the people until Border Patrol can get to them. And it really is that simple. If you see a crime being committed in the United States, you have the ability to commence what's called a citizen's arrest. So I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I know you guys know this, but that's what they're attacking, is your rights as Americans. And then, of course, they want to make us out to be, of course, terrorists. That's the next thing. We're right-wing terrorists. But the bottom line is, you guys know it's a bigger agenda. Our agenda is to share these videos and keep getting them out and showing people. Now, for those of you guys who've never seen this area here, this is the back area entrance to Monument 1. Again, this is an unfenced area of the border. This is part of the mountains. There's trails along here where once the people cross into the United States, they use these trails. So it's not uncommon to find smaller groups of people that have crossed the border illegally in areas like this. So occasionally we do see them as we're driving into the monument. I'm just trying to show you guys the kind of the area here, give you some layout. See, in one of these areas here, there's a tunnel, and I'm going to show you guys this tunnel. It's actually one of the tunnels that they use if they want to get easy access under the hill. I want to show you guys something. We usually put a stick up on it just so it tells you if anybody's been here or moved through here. Hold on a second, let me get you a picture so you can you guys see into the tunnel there? That's one of the tunnels that they use right there. And it takes them easy, instead of having to go all the way up the hill, they just sneak through that tunnel. And then what that does is that lets them over to here, you see? And then that puts them right out on the freeway. See, they can shoot across here. Quick access to the road. So we'll keep driving down here. I'll show you guys. I'm showing you kind of area that I don't think I've shown much in the videos. And of course, this is the river, and I want to bring this point up to you guys. The reason they call this Monument 1 is because this is the first part of the U.S.-Mexico border where it actually becomes land and you don't have a river in between. Okay? So if you look over here, right now the river's down. Can you guys see the river in the video here? Okay. There you go. There's the river. Okay. And so what's going to happen here in about a week is that river is going to be filled up. So it's going to be very difficult for the people trying to get in here illegally to rush the river, because right now it's so shallow. I mean, some people get stuck in the mud, and we've actually, Border Patrol has actually had to pull people out with their trucks because it's so mucky in there. It's not very deep. It only goes up to like your ankle. But in about a week, they're going to fill the river. And what that means is that this entire area right here will be almost impassable as far as for people trying to get across the river, because the current is very strong. So what's going to happen is that's going to force all the traffic into our little sector here, where, you know, the Monument 1 is, where the Mexican police has been sitting, where they're talking about building the wall. We build the wall is in negotiations right now to build wall there. That's one of the hottest spots right now on the border for illegal entry into the United States. And it's in our area. Now you guys are probably recognizing this because we're getting to the railroad tracks here. Okay. And we're going to take a quick jaunt down to the border. We're going to see if anything's going on down there before we check in here. We should be coming up on Border Patrol pretty soon. If they're here, they should have at least 1 or 2 agents here, I would think. Like I said, this is a pretty hot area. So... and we do got Border Patrol down there. They're there. You can see them there. But, here you guys go. You can see a little better. I'm taking the viewers on a trip to the border. I'm taking our viewers on a trip to the border. Oh, yeah. All right, guys, we're going to take a little trip down to the border. Real quick, we're going to hit it fast, see if the cop's down there, see if there's anybody down there staging while it's daylight. Now you can see here, when this river fills up over here, guys, this is going to be the end of that kind of traffic. Oh, it looks like we're having a party down here today. You guys can see. Now this could, oh boy, what do we got here? Oh no, are we unloading a bus? Is this, did we just walk into a bus, guys? It might not be a bus of illegals, but it sure as hell looks like it. Or maybe they're just bussed here because it's of the holiday too. You got to remember they have a big celebration down here with the thing going on, but that sure does look like the bus. And these guys could also be pretending to be picnicking or visiting the museum here, but guess what, guys? That's the U.S., that's the border right there in front of you where that bus is. Okay, now look over here, they got tents and stuff set up, but here's what happens. This makes this an easy distraction, okay? Because if they're over there just tenting and stuff, and then you got people over here that are like literally, you know, a stone throws away from walking across the border. All they got to do is, I mean, where they're at, theoretically, they're in Texas right there, so they've already theoretically broken the law. But we don't count that, because if they don't come over this way to here, then that's still considered, they're considered safe there. So if you're on that side of the border and you come over here where those tents are, you're in the United States, okay? But it's a little weird that we've got this bus down here. I mean, that's, I got to tell you guys something. That looks a lot familiar, like a bus from a different video that we took. Okay, so, and you got to remember, guys, this is a big night. If the cartel's going to close down for the weekend, then tonight's probably going to be a real big night for numbers. So, you know, I'm sure fake news will be at it again if we end up with a large group tonight. So, yep, there's the monument. That's what they call Monument 1, because again, this is the very first marker that very first marker of where land and the river ends. The river ends over there, so here's the monument. And then, of course, you've got the hills here. You got no wall. Where that guy's standing, he can almost just walk into the United States. Oh, and it looks like we've got people. Look at this, guys. This is where they're building up again over here. Look, because see, there's the Mexican cop. See him sitting down there by the tree. And you got these guys building a fire over here. So they are, I mean, they're there. They're getting ready to roll. This is Cartelville right here. This is not Tourismville. Keep that in mind. When I'm showing you this area, this is one of the hottest crossing areas on the border for not only drugs, but for sex trafficking, all kinds of human trafficking. We usually get spotters up on this hill right here. They'll climb up here, and this is where they spot. They're looking for us. They're looking for Border Patrol. That's why you saw Border Patrol back as far as he was. He goes back there because he's by himself. Number one, he has no backup, okay? Number two is because of the fact that they can go through a lot of area here. When they cross here, they can run up the hill, they can go up the mountain. Some of them will go down the road, but in either case, if you're by yourself as Border Patrol, you want to kind of have an idea of where they're coming in from before you make any moves. And you don't know how many are going to come in. You could have 3 bus loads, or you could have 1 bus load. I mean, they could drop 1,000. They come running at you out of the sudden, out of the blue. So that happens. Oh yeah, they are trying to say that we're kidnapping people too. That was another one that I was laughing about. I'm like, yeah, okay. If there's any kidnapping going on, it's people that are in those groups. And I'm not saying that everybody in that group, I mean, here's the thing, guys. When it comes to this illegal immigration, it's a business. And one of the things that isn't being told in this story enough, and I probably don't even tell it enough, is how did they get here in the first place? I mean, were they lied to? Did they believe it, that it was going to be an easy trek? I mean, what were they told to make them take the trip? And I don't believe that everybody that's coming across the border has all this money. I simply don't believe it. I don't believe it's true. So, we got to stick with that narrative. I don't see truth in it. Jeffrey,
You're not leaving until tomorrow, are you?
right?
Oh, I forgot. No, I didn't recognize the car. I was getting ready to come to your ass. What the hell you doing here?
Yeah. Taking pictures of that bus over there. That bus looks awfully familiar, doesn't it? No. You guys have never seen that bus before, have you? Right. Exactly.
This is where the problem comes in, because it'll be this, unless it's raining, it'll be this way every weekend until it gets cold again. You never know who's up to
you never know who's crossing, you never know who's up to what, and that's exactly the point I was just getting at. But we were all talking about the funding as well, who's getting these people money to get here. And so yeah, it'll be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see how all this plays out. But as I said, guys, it's not fair to Americans, it's not fair to New Mexico. She needs to get the military here before they start wasting money on fake investigations into a militia that doesn't exist. They need to focus on backing up their Border Patrol. Maybe it wouldn't hurt if they explained why walls work. The wall isn't the only solution, but it does block large groups of people from entering at points that you don't have enough people to cover. Yep, fake marriages licenses. Yeah, we're going to do that story too. They do that over in Mexico. You can get married over there and then get a picture of your wedding. There's all kinds of fraud going on. And, the longer this drags out, the more the fraud's going to be exposed. But as we're sitting here exposing it and talking about it, millions of people are, not millions, but thousands of people are coming through.
Hundreds of thousands.
And hundreds of thousands on the way. So it's, it is what it is. Jennifer, they're saying Border Patrol it's not that they don't want us here. It's just that in the statement that the Border Patrol gives, it's a public statement. Only 4 of them are allowed to talk. And their public statement is always that they do not condone basically private citizens patrolling the border. Okay, however, that statement in itself it's common sense. You can't say that you want everybody down here on the border. If you could imagine the chaos you would have if everybody just came down here and started patrolling the border, it would make it more dangerous. But if it's organized, and when I say organized, that's why, if you guys know, and they asked me this on the news, do we vet our people? Yes, we do. We have military, ex-military, and people that are capable of taking orders, people that are capable of making sure that the environment is safe for the people that are working and volunteering, but also safe for the illegal immigrants as they come in, because they do have kids. And that's one of the things that we look out for, is their safety. You guys have seen a video where I purposely pulled back from chasing a group of people because I didn't want them to get the kids hurt going through the hills. And they won't show you those type of things but you guys witnessed it, you saw it. And so, but this is the monument. Like I said, all weekend now we're going to have these people going up for the religious thing. But yeah, so that's why the Border Patrol does publicly makes that statement. But you as a citizen, any U.S. citizen, it's in New Mexico, it's open carry. There's no laws that are being broke regarding firearms. Any citizen who observes a crime in progress, and in this particular case, it's entering illegally into the United States. Like I said, them talking about asylum seekers, they don't know if in fact those were asylum seekers. We don't even know if those were asylum seekers. What we know is that 5 to 10% of those who claim asylum actually get asylum. I can tell you that group was rather large. I don't know if there was criminals in that group. I don't know if there was potential terrorists in that group. They weren't processed at the point that we actually encountered them. So that processing is 2 hours a person. It takes time. And to assume that in the middle of the night at 2 o'clock in the morning, when 300 people that you don't even know what country they came from are running at you, one would have to be semi-retarded to assume that everybody in that group is not there to hurt you, or that they're not carrying weapons, especially when they're carrying bags. Because it's a known fact that the smugglers and other operatives have been caught in these group of so-called asylum seekers. And the other thing is that when we're dealing with large groups like that are sitting down waiting to be processed for Border Patrol, one of the other things is they don't have a chance to see what's going on as far as in the other parts of the areas where there's open borders. So this is the time where, if you're going to move some criminals, you need to move a couple pounds of cocaine. Maybe somebody needs to get in the country that's not supposed to be here. They don't want to get their picture taken. So that's when they make their move. That's when they do it. And it's a game. It's a never-ending game. And now they're using drones. Okay, this is a new thing they've started using down here. We haven't quite figured out what they're doing with the drones. If they're just trying to take pictures, if they're trying to use it as a diversion. Maybe they don't need to have the coyotes climbing the hills as much, so they use the drones because they're getting lazy. Don't know yet, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure out why the drones are going up. Or how about stuff like this? They're destroying federal property. A few miles down from where Camp Liberty is, they've got people that are cutting the fence, the cattle fence and stuff, to get in, and they're moving in large numbers down there as well. So it's not just our area. That night that we had that group of people, and that wasn't the biggest group, or nor was that the first night we had a big group, that just happened to be the one that the media picked up on. That night we had a total of 1,800 people that Border Patrol confirmed passed through that sector. So that's 1,800 people that came through. And how many Border Patrol do you think were on duty that night?
8 or 10.
Yeah, probably 8 or 10. you know, maybe a few vans. Okay, so
3 vans. That's it.
oh, 3 vans. Okay, so 3 vans and 8 or 10 agents. So that guy should tell you something. 1,800 people. Yeah, it would be, and I'll tell you what, these agents weren't hired for processing. Can you imagine? You know, you go to work and you get there and you run into a group of 5 people, and it's 8 in the morning, and now you realize that you're a desk clerk for the next 10 hours. You didn't get anything real done. And you know, the Border Patrol, their morale is very low right now because they feel like they're being used and abused. They feel like America doesn't understand the situation. America's not listening to them when they tell them that our borders are at risk. You know, so we're kind of trying to tell the story for the Border Patrol that they're not allowed to talk about. And, you know, so anyway, guys, I am going to let you go for a little while. We're going to take another shot of this bus. I think this might be our bus, but I think it's just sitting here right now. But I want to get a better picture in case it is the same bus. Then we can match up the pictures and we'll have good identifying markers on it. We'll pull it off the video. But that does look like our drop bus. I will say that. So we get some good footage of it. And I always take pictures of the cars around here. Some of them are familiar, some of them aren't, but usually they all have a reason for being here. There's your border picnickers down there. And of course, then here's the river. Like I told you guys, in about a week or so, they won't be able to cross the river. So everything's going to come through here, through the hills up here, through the mountain. Good news is We Build the Wall is working on getting a wall built over there, at least on that side of Monument 1. That would be a tremendous blow to the cartel if that deal's able to go through, and they're working hard to get it done. I hope to know something on that soon.